The Shintaro Higashi Show is sponsored by Hakuin AI. Hakuin AI helps you measure, predict, and solve customer churn. Visit Hakuin AI and start your free churn audit today. Judo TV, your premier destination for live and on-demand judo coverage. Never miss a throw. Higashi brand. Train hard, live strong, wear Higashi brand.
Hello guys, welcome back to the Shintaro Higashi Show with David Kim. Nice to see you in person. We're in the same room right now. We just worked out.
Yeah, it's a little disturbing.
Yeah.
Being right next to you.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to talk a lot about, what are we talking about today?
I think we're going to talk about how to get better, how to know what to work on as you progress, as you gain more experience. Because obviously the things that a brand new white belt, whether you're in judo or jiu-jitsu, their process is probably going to be a little bit different than when you're a purple or brown belt or even black belt, right? I mean, we're probably not going to cover black belts because you're on your own. If you're a black belt, you're on your own.
You should be coming up with new stuff and ideas, and you should be able to self-direct your training.
Yes, 100%. But I think a lot of times you have obviously there are a lot of new people coming into both sports, and I see the messages all the time on some of the forums I'm on. It's the same questions over and over. Like, what do I do? How do I get better? How do I not get injured? Why am I getting injured? What do I do when I get injured? And all the technical stuff that you've heard 100 times. So.
Unfortunately, the answer for a lot of this stuff is not very exciting. And I think the biggest mistake with a lot of this stuff is that when you go to a class, most people are teaching offensive stuff. And you look at boxing too as an example. You go in, you learn how to throw a jab, you throw a cross, hook, and now all of a sudden you're shadow boxing and moving, right?
Right.
So like the defensive side of grappling is much more important for beginners because, all right, we're going to learn taitoshi today. We're going to learn this setup, that setup, game position, do this, do that. All of a sudden, go live, doing randori, right? And now you're just getting taken down left and right, and it's an issue of not learning the grip fighting, hand positioning, how do you even defend those techniques, early stage defenses, right? When you see it coming, you can block with your arms, late stage, shifting your body weight, using your hips, and then falling properly.
Yeah, that's probably the most important thing.
Yes. So it's like now all of a sudden you're getting taken down all the time, not getting better. Let me watch these YouTube videos. I want to throw taitoshi, how to throw taitoshi. You YouTube me, you learn this stuff, you try to hit it, can't hit it.
Yeah.
Because there's missing so much context. And then when you're in survival mode, you're not able to consciously think about what I'm doing right or wrong because you're just kind of surviving. And then you become very, very tense upper body and you sort of do the natural fight or flight situation. And now, exactly. Now your offense is not getting better. Now you're frustrated. And then most of the time you quit.
Yeah. I think from a jiu-jitsu perspective, there is like a natural progression, right? So if you're a white belt, I think that's why some people miss being a white belt. Because if you're paying attention, there are so many threads you can pull on to improve, right? And so same, we were just talking about it before. Yeah, maybe you're not going to get that mounted cross choke that the guy went over in class, but you're probably getting put in the mount, you're getting put inside control a lot. So even if the class isn't about that, you know which positions you're getting stuck in.
Yes,
right, and you can sort of pull on that. Whereas I think I think it's actually a little easier in jiu-jitsu than judo because in judo you just get thrown.
You
just get thrown. It's over, right? Where jiu-jitsu, like you can remember, like I got put in this position like every single roll, and they all submitted me the same way. If it's the last thing I do, I'm going to learn how to not get submitted that way. At least I'm going to. Make him submit me a different way.
Or even like I'm getting pinned. Okay, put my hand like this, put my hand right there, push away and try to wedge a knee in between. But in judo, it's like, oh, I'm upside down, getting taken down.
Blake kind of did that to me today. I won't lie, hurt my feelings a little bit.
Beat you up a little bit?
No, he was perfectly civilized, but he did put me head over heels on like a nice little sort of tomoe balloon sweep type thing. And that always hurts my feelings.
So you as a middle of the pack, white to black, you're a purple belt. What should you be working on now? Like, how do you guide your own practice?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is where it gets hard because it's not as obvious anymore. Like, why are the things that are happening? And I think that's that's sort of linked to blue belt blues or even purple belt. You feel like you plateau because you don't know, and it's not. That's why I think you have to study more. You have to be. It's less about the positions. It's more about what am I really trying to do here? Am I doing combinations? And we talked about this a little bit last time. Like, am I doing combinations? Do I have something that complements what I'm doing, right? And this is where the details become more important, right? Like, am I really studying the intermediate positions?
Are you studying?
No, hell no.
How you get better?
I mean, it's hard. I mean, I've been working a lot more now, so it's the training schedule goes down. So now I'm training. So this is actually an interesting thing, because now I'm training not really for technical progression. I'm training just to keep the thread alive.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get to a point where you just stop training for a few months and now you're just like, who the hell knows where you're going to be.
So how often are you training now? Once a week?
Yeah, that much or twice a week. Twice a week, yeah. I try to make it at least twice, because.
So do you pick the roles that you go against? Like, I'm going to go with these guys, I'm going to go with those guys?
I wish. Everybody picks me, man. You pick me. All the guys pick me. And I think it's, and I've told you this before, I think it's because they know I have good reactions.
Yeah.
But they're a little bit slow. So they can practice, they get good training, because they get to practice.
Yeah.
But I don't,
So when you come to a training,
and
then you get guys who are just like, all right, come on, let's go, David.
Yeah.
And then do you get frustrated?
Frustrated that they want to roll with me?
No, afterwards.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, I get frustrated sometimes. Sometimes I get frustrated.
What is it like on your drive home from training? Are you like, all right, I got to think about work now, I got to make these calls, or are you like thinking about training on the way home?
Sometimes I'll think about training.
Yeah.
Right? Because, and more of the frustration is because maybe I'm getting into the same positions over and over again.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite like able to work on the things I want to work on. But again, only training a couple times a week, it's hard to really, and sometimes, I'm like just running in, trying to make the class. So I might be a little bit late.
You're always late.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for letting everyone know. But it's always because I have meetings right before.
All right, so when you go in though, you're like, all right, this is what I want to be working on today.
Yeah. I think mostly I'm just happy to be there.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy to be there, happy to train. And it absolutely is not the right mentality for improvement.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like where I am at the moment. But there was a time where I was probably going 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
And there, I'm really trying to figure out from class to class, I'm trying to hone down to certain positions and trying to think out of those like micro games, kind of micro positions where I can work my game. But also it depends on the structure of the class.
Do you go back and think about the workout that you did and then say, all right, this guy did this to me, that guy did that to me?
Yes, 100%.
You do?
Well, that's good. Yeah,
That's
100%.
a start.
Yeah, 100%. Especially if there's a pattern among, like if a big guy, a small guy, this, purple belt, brown belt. Like if there's sort of a spread of people doing the same things to me, that definitely will ring bells. Like there's a problem.
So what is one of your issues?
I would say open guard retention is definitely a problem. It's just so hard. It's so punishing, And I've been trying to get away from the half guard game, just because it can be such a grind, and it is probably my best position, that coyote half, because I just feel like once I get to that position, like I'm 51% or better to get into a good spot.
Yeah.
But I don't want to keep playing that all the time because it's just like such a war. When you get there, and if someone's got a really good whizzer, or they're just really good with their hips, it can be really hard. So that's sort of what I'm dealing with right now.
Interesting.
So I'm not. Do as I say. Don't do as I do. I'm very average purple belt. Yeah.
So let me give you some unsolicited.
Oh yeah, please do. Please,
you can ask me, but this is what I would do personally.
Yeah.
Right. Going into training, a lot of the times I'm working on this. People say this.
Yeah.
And then let's just say it's like, all right, I'm working on floating pass or whatever. In judo contests, like I'm working on hitting my uchimata, setting it up, whatever it is. But a lot of times you don't have the ability to get to the position to be able to do that.
Yep.
So you need to have offensive stuff that you want to work on. If I can get to this position, I'm working on this. And defensively, if I get out gripped, I'm gonna spam tomonagi, I'm gonna work this, that, this, and this, right? So having those two things. In your context, it would be, okay, open guard retention, right? Doing open guard retention if I get put onto my back.
Yeah.
If I'm on top, the person pulls guard, I'm gonna do open guard passing, like open loose passing.
Yeah.
So I understand the reverse side
Yes.
of the open guard retention. That way, when you're on top, you get to work on this thing, and it connects with when it's reversed. That would be my thing. And then after training, you got to drill those positions.
Yeah,
you have to
that's
workshop it afterwards. It's like,
Yes.
hey man, let's work on this thing. Okay, so you know I'm gonna go high leg over. So you did that today. You tried the Toriando, whatever it is, and then X pass, and you high legged over, and then he anticipated, caught, and ran to the other side, and you gave up.
yes, 100%.
But so it's like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, so what would you do from there? Let's go through that. I go here, you high step, I'm going around. Maybe you choose to invert, I don't know, something. Or maybe you get ready to,
Yeah.
right? Because
Or just turtle. Even turtling would be better.
Yeah, even turtling. And then like going through, what would you do from here? How would I do it from there? And then spending 10, 15 minutes in sort of this zero stress environment of like me and you kind of like working through it. And then you bring it home, and then you go to training again, and then thinking about it before you do it.
Mhm.
And then when you repeat that, I think, you know, in my humble opinion, that you didn't ask for.
It's totally fine. I totally 100% believe you.
Yeah.
It's just, you know.
So having offensive thing, having defensive thing,
Yeah.
and then you have to understand whatever you're trying to do requires you to have a certain winning position to be able to do it.
Right.
So judo, like I want to hit Osoto from this position. Okay, right versus left. He's killing this lapel hand. I cannot put my hand on his chin.
Yes.
Can't do any of it. Right. So it's like, all right, you want to be able to work on getting to that position first. So there's like that contextual thing that precedes the actual technique that you're working on. Then you enter that thing, and then there's multiple lines of defense, right? And then when you have that idea, then you can kind of see where things break down, you know? And then when someone's like, hey, what am I doing wrong? Am I not clipping the knee? Or when I, you know, then you have to be able to understand sort of the phases. And then sometimes like you're working on phase 2, entering Osoto, but then he's able to shift his head, and then now there's no pressure on the head.
Yeah.
You have to go back to that initial thing of putting the hand on the head, you know? It's like
You know,
clearing
one
frames, you know?
of the most luxurious classes I've ever been to, and I would love to have this class at Essential, is it was a drilling class,
Yeah.
where the Tory chooses what the drill is or what the thing. So you would do specific training for, like, let's say you're working on your Delhiva, right?
Yeah.
So you work on your Delhiva, but the instructor doesn't tell you what the constraints of the specific training. You choose as the you know, as a person training, right? So I could say, maybe I'm just trying to monitor with my posting foot, right? I'm just trying to make sure I can get that, you know, and spread out the stance, you know, and if you lose it, you can stop the training right there and start again.
Yeah.
And that was like probably the most luxurious thing, because you could choose to work on the thing you wanted to work on.
That's a nice thing. I think there should be more, you know, of that. In my dojo, we do like, all right, first 10 minutes drill, whatever you want to drill, and then I'll pair the white belts with the higher belts, and then it's like, hey, you know, guide them, whatever, you know. But like majority of the room aren't
they're not
basic beginners, and then I would say a good 80% of the room gets the most out of that. And then every now and then I'll put all the white belts here, and you guys have a little mini class on X, Y, and Z. And then, but the rest of you guys work on what you've been working on, and then to make sure that there's activity happening upstairs. What are you working on today? If they can't tell me, like in an eloquent way, where it's like, I'm working on X, Y, and Z, troubleshooting this and that, this, that, this. I was like, dude, you have no clue what this guy's doing.
Yeah.
So, you know.
You're wasting your time.
You kind of waste your time. You're just doing regular drills, like just inside trips over and over and over with no context. It's like, all right. You know, when that's the case, you know, you have to encourage that athlete to be more mindful.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, who did you work out with second? You know, like, do you remember the context of our workout today, or what was like yesterday? Like, where did we get caught? Why did you get caught? You know, and if you can't recall any of this stuff, you're in just full survival mode. You know, you're way behind. You know,
that's where I live, man.
Yeah.
Survival.
So to
although I remember the Dayashi.
Yeah, right over there.
Yeah.
But so for like concrete steps for a lot of the guys who are listening, I think in the beginning, you know, before you even get to that mindful stage, right?
Yeah.
Understanding like offense, defense, hand positioning, winning position.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. And for jiu-jitsu, I think it's the same thing. If you're just beginning for jiu-jitsu, it's just a lot easier. And having those, people forget about like the defensive postures.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, John Donner says like up until blue belt, they should be only doing escapes.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you're
right.
And
there's something to be said about that.
Yeah.
You know, because you should have that foundation.
Yeah.
You know?
And you should be like, and also it sort of shouldn't be a choice.
Yeah.
Because if you're a white belt,
yeah,
rolling with more experienced people.
Yeah.
They're gonna put you in those positions anyway. So you have to learn that. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just gonna be a miserable. But you have to accept that as a goal, right? Like I'm never gonna get. My goal is never to get submitted the same way twice. That's that was my goal as a white belt. Like it's almost like those movies where the guy's playing poker and he's like, those guys promise they're not going to win, and they're just watching everybody's tells. Yeah. And I sort of felt the same way when I started. I'm like, I'm going to make everybody submit me, use all their submissions on me, and I'm going to learn everything they do. Yeah. Did you? I learned a lot of it. Yeah. I mean, I still use a lot of that defense now. Yeah. I still use a lot of it.
Yeah. Ironically, like I never really took classes, right?
Yeah.
Coming up my grappling. Yeah. So it's like I've never taken like a beginner class. Yeah. And so it's like I've never quite learned to open closed guard that much. No, I'm being that serious. So it's like I've never had the training. I never have to do it. Most guys will hold you in closed guard and they'll open it themselves, so you don't even need to force it open. Yeah. And then it's like a lot of the times when you're rolling, it's a welcome to rest because I can kind of do just enough. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like
it's a little bit of a lost art too, I think now. Like a lot of guys are not playing. They're all playing K guard. They're not playing closed guard anymore. Yeah.
It's a funny thing, man. Judo too, stand up. It's like there's just so many things to work on too. And if you're just going to class and listening to the teacher and just only doing that,
it's hard to.
It's hard because like, all right, today move of the day is Ochi, flavor of the day. It's like I don't really do that, and I'm working on this thing, and it's so different from what I was thinking about earlier today. Now I'm in the live training portion of the class.
Yeah, how are you gonna
put that in there? You're trying this new thing. All right, go here. I clip this kochi. He steps back. I'm gonna go Senagi. I'm gonna try to hit that exact sequence. It rarely ever happens.
Yeah. I sort of think of it as like you sort of. It's more of a threshold. Yeah. Like you get experience. None of it makes sense. You're just trying to do it, and once you pass a certain threshold, you sort of start figuring out what you need to do. But you gotta be in the soup long enough to, get to that minimum threshold where you can start, pulling on those threads. But just the exposure, the conditioning, like a lot of, even jiu-jitsu, which is not as high impact, especially if you start older, the body needs time to, like your joints hurt, all that kind of stuff. And that goes for the technique too. Like, unless you're an athlete, if you're just like the regular office guy, like I was. Sure. It takes a long time to just figure out where your head and your toes are when you're rolling. So
and here's another one: when you get to the higher belts, black belt, exploring new positions. Yeah, because you get so good at a couple things, and I see it all the time in my room here. Judo guys who are visitors, they have one or two things that are very good, and then you ask them about anything outside of that, they can't do it, they can't teach it, they don't understand it. But they have a very good system to get to the position that they want to get to. Right. And then having a couple of different attacks, whether it's combinations or misdirections, and then they blast those things, take people down. That's it. Yeah. And they have this really narrow path to victory that they stick to. And everyone has to be filtered into that, Yeah. So it's the responsibility of the higher belt to say, you know what, man? I'm going to explore something different today. Hip to hip. Georgian position. Yeah. I'm going to do one-handed judo instead. I'm going to try to grip fight and then try to snap the person down and force transitional wins. It's your job to kind of fill in all the gaps, especially if you're a high-level black belt who isn't competing. Yeah. I think that's the most important thing.
Is that the hardest? Is that the hardest transition between an athlete and an instructor, though? Because
I think so.
You gotta. I guess when you're an athlete, you have to do that. You have to follow people into your best techniques.
Yeah. This is it. This is my path. Like I remember at Jimmy Pedro's, watching Killer and Travis and those guys. It's like, all right, grip fight hard, win the advantage, force penalties, force no wilds, and submit them, right? Yeah. And that really was the game plan. Of course, there's throwers like Kayla's a hip thrower, Travis sleep on whatever, right? But everyone has to learn that. It's like that's your path to victory. Hard gripping, good no wilds,
and then opportunistic.
Yeah. Exactly, and then that was sort of the path to victory, and then all of a sudden it's like, you're not experimenting with Tomonagi, you're not experimenting, let me try this new thing. Even though you are kind of on your own time, and a lot of the champions are like that too. Yeah. I remember like Inoue, he's a Uchimata guy, also drops Senagi, he was working on Tomonagi at one time.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I was like,
during his competitive days or?
After.
Yeah, after. Okay.
And he was like, I was never able to hit him. And I saw him do Randori and try it and failed like 9 times. Yeah. He's like, I just don't know why this shit's not working. And it was kind of like, it was so cool to see that this guy who won, an Olympic gold was like
still trying to get better.
And I thought that was really cool. I'm sure he's figured it out by now.
Yeah.
Maybe he's teaching it to his guys, but Tomoe wasn't my thing back in the day.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a thing I even entertained. I was used it to just bail out a bad position.
Yeah.
I call it a bailout throw.
Yeah.
But little by little, I'm exploring this thing. It was a self-guided thing. No one's teaching me Tomoe in here.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm showing it to guys. I'm learning it. I'm troubleshooting it. I'm doing it in Randori, thinking about it. Now I could hit almost anyone with Tomoe.
Yeah.
Not almost anyone, but almost any hobbyist that comes in over a certain age.
Yes.
That.
Yes. I think I might be square in that demographic.
You're right.
Yeah. I'm the bullseye of that.
A jiu-jitsu guy that doesn't really do judo.
Yeah. Hey, I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah. But that's a really important thing, to have a self-guided practice and be very mindful and think about your round. And coming up with a plan when you enter the training room.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because this reminds me of a conversation I just had with my son. Because I think again, this is why we're nostalgic about being white and blue belt. Because a lot of those things you're working on are sort of obvious, right?
Yeah.
But as you get more experience, you sort of have to study.
You do. You have to study.
Like it's not easy. It's not easy to get those gains anymore. You have to study. You have to pay attention.
Yep.
You have to drill. You have to explore, and it's a pain.
Well, it's a pain in the butt.
It's a pain in the ass, and so you're balancing your desire to get better against your time, your commitments, your children, all that kind of stuff. And you still got to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. You still got to do all that stuff. So I think, as a practical matter, you have to accept reasonable rate of improvement. That's how I look at it. And you can't beat yourself up saying like, oh, I rolled with that purple belt, I rolled with that brown belt, I rolled with that 220-pound white belt, and had a hard time. Like, you just got to let all of that go.
Yeah. A lot of these roles aren't even helpful.
Yeah, right.
For instance, like if your son's in a wrestling room and they're teaching these sequences, like, all right, man, and this is how it is in wrestling all the time.
Yeah.
All right, set up, collar tie, snap down, single.
Right.
All right, go drill that,
Right.
Guy reaches for the forehead, elbow pulse, shoot. Collar tie, pass the elbow, shot. Okay, go drill it. So now you're doing a setup and a shot, a setup and a shot, a setup and a shot. It never ever looks like that.
Yeah.
It's 2 or 3 setups. Hand fighting, game position, make it look like one thing, clear it, and then go for the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like you gotta kind of, I don't like the one setup, one shot, one finish, drill, and then it's a huge waste of time. It's, you're almost better off like, all right guys, hand fighting, and these are the shots that you kind of get in on.
Right.
So it's like, hand fighting, enter the shot. Hand fighting, enter the shot.
Yeah.
Right? So like you learn to kind of chain all these hand fighting things together.
Right.
It's like, where's the first point of contact? Backhand pulse to the shoulder, backhand collar tie, right? Dealing with those three ways to deal with the hand pulse, 3 ways to deal with the collar tie. Go try that over and over and play fight with it. Play fight with it. There's no risk of getting taken down. You spend a lot of time doing that. You spend 20 minutes doing that, getting to a leg. All right, guys, we're going to start with a single leg now. So you've already can get to the leg. You start with a single leg. All right, guys, we're going to do a takedown drill. The person's going to give 30% resistance. All right, these are the 3 finishes now. Run the pipe, switch to a double. Run the pipe, switch to a double. Clear it, lift the ankle up to your armpit. Okay, go. Cycle through, cycle through. Now all of a sudden, you've spent 40 minutes training and developing skill. You're not that tired. Your lungs aren't blown out. Your legs aren't gassed. You're not in survival mode. All right, now let's wrestle
that's
a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the best practice ever.
Yeah.
Not that your son isn't going to listen to you. But that's how it should be, right?
Yeah.
But if you're in a class, you're paying money, and then the instructor's there, and they're getting paid money to teach the class, and they're like, this is what I'm good at, I'm going to show this thing. That's not the best way.
Yeah.
So it's like, how does it become economically viable for a guy who runs a gym, who hires instructors, and has this service, and then that scales in this way to get the most out of the... It's a really tricky thing, I think,
Yeah.
But I love that example, man. Just like, I wish I was taught like that. I wasn't.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to kind of come up with these things, and I run my judo classes like that, and it's really fun.
Yeah,
Really
I
fun.
think that's
It's really great,
Yeah, that's sort of similar to what we were talking about before with like the pick your own drill kind of thing. I mean, it's very similar because you have a little bit of that freedom, right?
Yeah.
But it's still very specific at the same time. So I would love. I would love to have that. And like Dom Joni, sometimes like the sweeper submit time.
Yeah.
That's at the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm usually late, but if you were like motivated,
Yeah.
you could use that time.
I use that.
That's 20 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever to essentially do what you're talking about. Like I can pick whatever I want. Like we don't have to strictly sweep. I can work on that guard, or I can work on as long as your partner's willing.
Yeah.
You can use that time very efficiently.
Yes, for sure, man. I'll do that the other day. It's a little bit early.
Yeah.
Did my thinking, and then we were doing. I was like sweep pass submit, and then I was like, I'm gonna practice my floating pass and hip switch pass, floating hip switch, floating hip switch, knee cut, and I was just trying that, but my back was hurt, so I couldn't quite like rotate, and I was like aching, and the whole thing. But yeah,
welcome to my world. Yeah. Welcome to my world.
Getting up there, man. I'm catching up to your age. Catching up.
No, I'll always be in front.
But yeah, that'll be. I don't know about that. Aging pretty rapidly. But yeah, that'll be good advice for most guys.
I think so.
I don't know if we're clear enough, but I think, if you listen to this far.
Yeah.
No.
Everybody's dealing with this stuff, and especially if you're starting out, just relax.
Yep.
If you're doing jiu-jitsu, it's going to take care of itself.
Yep.
Don't worry about it.
Yep.
Worry about it when you get to purple belt.
Or judo too.
Yeah.
You're not alone. You're not alone.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
It's hard out there.
It was hard today.
Oh, it's hard. Yeah, it was good. All right, well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.